Okay, really quick, you wanted to hear about how I make, and of course my dog wants to start barking at the neighbors walking down the street. You wanted to make your tumbler bigger. I can't do the 30-ounce tumblers. I do have the 8.5 by 11. So what I do, I design on Cricut Design Space. Most of the time, I buy tumbler wraps that are already made. But if you want to design in here, you can. Let's just for the sake of having a little bit of fun, I'm going to go here and do my name and make this. I've already made this tumbler, but I actually messed it up because I printed on the wrong side of the paper. So I'm just going to go to customize because I've already made it and saved it. And my sizes here, I'm not really worried about it. It's a print then cut. It's small enough for me to send to my virtual printer. If you have a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air, any Apple products, you cannot use Bullzip, but I will show you the app that they specify for you to be able to use. So I would go to Make It and Continue. I want to send it to printer. I am going to send it to my print to PDF. I'll show you that app in a second. And make sure you remove the bleed. You don't want the bleed on there. So I'm going to click print. And it's going to say printed. When it goes through, it's going to pop up like this. And I want to save this as Sam1 because that was actually the very first one that I made. I'm going to save it to my desktop because I always work directly from my desktop and I don't need this anymore. And I actually do not need the Cricut anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and exit out of here. And I'm going to go into Word. Now, Word is what I do all my sizing on. So I'm going to make this bigger for now and show you the layout is landscape. I want it long and short. And then this is how I get my sizes. I'm sorry if it's pulsing, it's just my phone is trying to focus. But I would go down to custom margins and I want to reduce my margins all the way down to 0.2 inches. If you go any smaller than that, you're going to start getting ink on your rollers, on the paper guide, anything, outside of the paper. So you want to make sure that you aren't going all the way to the very edge. So now I have right here when I did the virtual printer, which if you have a Mac, it looks like this, PDF printing. And I'm sorry, let me close out of this. I'm going to take the one that I saved and I'm just going to drag and drop it onto my Word document. From here, I am going to right click and I'm going to crop it. I want to get rid of all of those lines and I am going to get as tight to the image as I possibly can. I don't want any of that white. If you have any white left over, it is going to count it as the 0.025 of an inch. So your measurement could be completely off. You want to make sure that you don't do that. So this is where I'm going to make it nice and big. This is where I'm going to adjust my sizes. And I want to align to one side so I know how much room I'm working with. So here we have I need to adjust this because I need my height, not my width. So my layout is actually going to be portrait. Because I need my length to be longer. So I need my height. Now you could do this one of two ways. If you had your orientation as landscape, you would need to rotate because depending on how you want it. I mean, if you want the name to wrap all the way around horizontally, which most people don't do. Most people do it vertically. this S would be close to the bottom, the A would be closer to the top. So if you're gonna do it landscape, you would want to rotate it like this. Oh, I'm sorry, get there. Or you can do it the orientation as portrait and keep it the other way. But I like to look at it how I would be looking at my tumbler. So I apologize for going too far without explaining. So my height right now is 8.08. Most tumblers are 8.2. I'm gonna go with the 8.21. That way it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that I cut off this this white, and if I go a little bit into the picture, I'm still gonna be okay. And then my width, most widths are going to be the 9.3. Again, I go a tiny bit bigger than that, and I have the 9.33 or 32. 9.33 usually does it for me. So here I have my tumbler wrap. Depending on the type of tumbler you have, you may want to measure the tumbler that you have. And I don't know why I'm having 2 pages. I don't want to waste 2 papers, so you'll have to just bear with me a second. There we go. Okay, so in all honesty, it's going to look like this on my tumbler. And what I'm going to do is just double check my measurements here and make sure my height is at 8.21, my width is at 9.33. Depending, if you print on like an Epson or EcoTank, I can't tell you what program they use for print manager. If you print directly to your printer, you can just print from there, but mine is a Sawgrass. So I'm going to go to print, and Sawgrass has the Sawgrass print manager to make sure that you are printing the right stuff. So I just go down here and click print manager, and it opens up the Sawgrass print manager for me, and that's where I can choose. I'm gonna wind up putting this on metal. I want high quality. This is the type of paper I use, and I wanna make sure that my color is vivid. That's how you get those nice bright colors. At least that's what I've heard with all the videos that I watch. So I would just hit print, and it's gonna send it to the printer. If you have a Mac and you have a Sawgrass, you don't wanna close your laptop right at this moment because it stops communicating with the printer and doesn't allow you to do it. So I hope that works for you. When it prints out, you cut the edges nice and tight. Make sure that your seam is touching with no gaps and no overlap, because then that air is going to get in there and you're going to get some of those white lines. I still have not mastered that. This is a cup that I did. My seam is nice and tight, but as you can see there, if it would just focus, I did get a little bit of white in there, a little bit of air. And then my underneath, if it will focus, it kind of curves around. If you want it to stop at the edge so that you don't get that, and just tape it off nice and tight, you can, but I'm still trying to master this. But I have figured out to use the Word document because I don't understand Canva or Silhouette. So I hope it helps you, and good luck with your tumblers, and please excuse the mess here, but it's gonna come out really faded like that, and then the heat activates the printer. So good luck.